All right, in the last video, we kind of introduced the concept of a box and whisker plot. Specifically, we looked at the 5-number summary, which we talked about finding the least value, Q1, the first quartile, the median, the third quartile, and the greatest value. So if you haven't watched that yet, make sure you go back and watch that because you need to be able to find those in order to make the box and whisker plot. Okay, so being able to find those values, the median being half the middle of the entire set of values, and then you have the middle of the lower half, and then the middle of the upper half, the least value and the greatest value. Now, when it comes to the box and whisker plot, the way in which it's laid out is the box contains Q1, Q3, and Q2, or the median. Okay, so when we construct a box and whisker plot, we're going to mark this above a number line, and the first point on our number line is going to be Q1. Then we're going to mark Q2, which is the median, and then Q3. And then when we connect Q1 and Q3, that's where the box is going to go around those two values. Okay, so notice, it's not on the number line, it's above this number line. Okay, so maybe eventually they'll mark out the values here. Maybe it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, and so on. Okay. So with that in mind, we would mark those values. Now, normally what they're going to do is they're going to draw a line through the median's dot to kind of show where the middle value is, okay? So that shows us the different parts of the Q1, the Q2, and the Q3. Now the whisker part, okay, so that was the box. The whisker part comes from marking or placing a dot on the greatest value and the least value. Then we connect a whisker to the box from both of those values, okay? So that's why it's called a box and whisker plot, okay? So we need to be able to find our 5-number summary, plot those above a number line, create a box around Q1 and Q3, and then connect a whisker from the least value to the box and a whisker from the greatest value to the box, okay? And then in the next video, we'll talk about how to read the box and whisker plot and what does that actually indicate. But let's just focus on actually making one for now, okay? So let's drop down here to number 5, and then maybe we'll do 6 and this number 5 in class together. But let's focus on number 5 here, in which they talk about age at first job, okay? First thing we need to do is like we did in the last video, which is find the 5-number summary. So we want the least value, Q1, the median, Q3, and the greatest value. In order to do that, we have to go from least to greatest. So our least value appears to be 12. The next value I see is 14. Looks like we have another 14. Then we have 15, 15. Then we have 17, 18, 18, 19, and 21. Okay, so we go from least to greatest. Now, once we have those listed out, looking at our 5-number summary, notice the least value here, or the minimum you could say, is 12. That's one of the values we want. The greatest value is 21. And now let's find the median and before we find the Q1 and the Q3. So let's look for the median. Okay, so looking for the median here, let's count off how many numbers we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's an even number, which means we have 2 middle numbers. So remember, if we have an even amount, 2 middle numbers, we have to add those together and divide by 2. Since it's a small enough data set, let's just kind of cross this out and work our way towards the middle here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, working our way towards the middle, and it looks like we end up with 2 middle values of 15 and 17, okay? So finding the median here, this would be 15. I'm going to actually work it up here. 15 plus 17 divided by 2, okay? Well, adding that together, we get 12, 32. We have 32 divided by 2 equals 16, okay? Or another way to think of it, what number is in between 15 and 17? 16, okay? So the middle number here, the median, is 16. So the number that separates these two halves is 16. Okay, so now we have two different halves. We have the lower half and the upper half, and that's where we're going to get our Q1, okay, the lower quartile, and then we're going to get our Q3, the upper quartile. Okay, now on the lower half here, I might just kind of get rid of, whoops, that's not what I wanted. Try that again, maybe with a smaller value. There we go. Kind of get rid of these tick marks for a second. And let's kind of go back here at the lower half and then look at the upper half here, okay? So on the lower half, notice we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers, 5 values, okay? So it's an odd number set, so the middle value is only going to be one number. So if that's the case, looks like 14 is going to be Q1. That's our Q1, the middle of the first half, okay? Then the middle of our second half appears to be 18, okay? So our Q3 would be 18. So that would be our 5-number summary. Now, that's what we worked on in the last video, is being able to find our Q1 and Q3, median, least value, and greatest value. Now we actually have to plot those on a graph, make the box and whisker plot. The easiest way to look at this is we have to incorporate all the values that we have here from the least value to the greatest value, okay? Now, an easy way to do that is just to start on the number line with your least value, and then just count by whatever numbers you need to get to your greatest value. In this case, I might actually extend this out a little bit. We can just probably count by ones and go to 21. So the next one would be 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and then 21. Okay, so it really doesn't matter. You could even count by twos if you wanted to, and then you could just go to halfway points. As long as you account for all the numbers that are going to be in our 5-number summary, that's what we really need to look at, okay? Then we just start to plot the points of each one of these values above our graph here. So the least value is at 12, so I'm going to put a point at 12. My greatest value is at 21, so I'm going to put a point at 21. My median is at 16. There we go. My Q1 is at 14, and my Q3 is at 18, okay? So that's the first thing we want to do, is mark all the points that we have for our 5-number summary. 5 points, 5 numbers. Then the box goes around Q1 and Q3. Okay, so Q1 was 14 and Q3 was 18, so that's where the box goes. Then we put a line through the median that's showing where the middle's at, and then we connect a whisker to the greatest value and a whisker to the least value. Okay, this would create our box and whisker plot. Okay, maybe let's try one more together here. Maybe we can do that with the test scores and kind of use the space at the bottom just to get the idea here. So with the test scores again, 5-number summary, we go from least to greatest. It looks like my least value is 43. Then it looks like 46. Then it looks like 48, 49, 50, 52, 53, and I have 2 of those. And I'm kind of running out of space here, but then 55, okay? So again, we just need to find our Q1, Q3, our median, least value, greatest value. Well, the least value here is 43, and I might just kind of abbreviate that and work around here. So our least value is 43. Our greatest value is 55. Then the median, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers. That means we're going to only have one middle value. So the median here, since it's such a small number, we can just kind of cross this out. I'm actually going to go beneath just to save us some room later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like 50 is our median. Okay. Then this value separates it into 2 halves. Now we have this half, and then we have this half. Okay, well notice there's 4 numbers there. That's an even number. That means we're going to have 2 middle numbers that we have to add together and divide by 2. In this case, 46 and 48 is this middle number. Well, if we add 46 and 48 and divide by 2, notice the middle number between those is just 47, okay? What number is between 46 and 48? 47. So Q1 would just be 47. Then the middle numbers here is 53. Well, again, that's another easy one to figure out because if it's the same number, if we add them together and divide by 2, we're just going to get 53 again. So Q3 is 53. Okay. Now you could check that in a calculator. You could add it together and divide by 2, but that's what we would get. Then in terms of the box and whisker plot, again, we got to make our number line, and we just have to account for all the values that we have. So it looks like I'm going from 43 to 55. Okay, so maybe we start at 43. We could just count by ones. It's not that far apart. Going all the way to 55. And maybe I need just a little bit more room. Okay, so this would be our number line there. Then marking our value. So our least value would be at 43. The maximum or the greatest value is at 55. Our median is at 50. Q1 is at 47. Q3 is at 53. And then remember, the box goes around Q1 and Q3. A line goes through our median. And then we connect the least value to the box with a whisker, and we connect the greatest value to the box with a whisker. Okay, so this would be our box and whisker plot.